Going into the recording studio is a lot like getting married. It's an exciting, magical time that can fill your life with wonder, but without the right strategy and planning, it can also be a wasteland of time and money you'll never get back. So pay attention. Welcome to the Saxophone Academy channel. I'm Dr. Wally Wallace, and I just got back from a week of recording with my band, the Sononauts. We spent a week in Gate City Studios, and we had a really good time, and I'm quite pleased with the result. I'll be releasing an album in the coming months I'm excited to share with you. But that's not always been the case for me. I've had some horrible failures over the years in the studio, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. So here are 5 strategic tips for studio success. Tip number 5, optimize your repertoire. It's never a good idea to go into the studio with tunes or pieces you've never played live before. And if possible, you should play it with musicians you've played with live before. It'll make the whole process a lot more comfortable and a lot easier. Sure, you want to showcase your abilities and what you can do, but you also want to choose repertoire that will show you in the best light possible. And if you've practiced these pieces for a while and performed them live, you're going to be aware of any pitfalls or challenges you need to work out beforehand. And beforehand is the key. You don't want to be making these decisions while you're paying an hourly rate. It's stressful and you're never going to love the result. So choose music that meets the purposes of your recording, but also something you can play with confidence and conviction. It'll make the end result much more enjoyable for the listener. Tip number 4, pharmaceuticals. Nothing can kill a session faster than having epinephrine shot out of your adrenal glands. The symptoms include shaking hands, dry mouth, shortness of breath, and a whole host of symptoms that make playing the saxophone nearly impossible. But beta blockers, as prescribed by a physician, can actually help. They block the uptake of those magnificent fear chemicals to your beta receptors and help eliminate some of those symptoms. These are actually Altoids. I don't really get nervous anymore because I no longer equate my self-worth with my saxophone playing. But if you're the nervous, twitchy type, these can help eliminate some of those symptoms. So talk to your physician, not your dealer, your physician, and see if beta blockers might be a good option for you. It'll get rid of the shakes, but you'll still have horrifying self-talk. Tip number 3, prepare your gear in advance. If you need to have any repairs or tweaks done to your instrument, don't plan on getting it back the day before the session. You want to get your horn back a couple of weeks beforehand to let the pads and any work settle. And then you'll know if you need any tweaks or adjustments before the actual session. And also, about a week before, start conditioning your reeds. If you're not familiar with the process of conditioning reeds, I'll put a link to my previous video down there. Conditioning your reeds is a game changer and will make a huge difference when you go into the studio. But even with the best laid plans, accidents and strange things happen. So it's not a bad idea to have a backup horn on call. Maybe a friend with a saxophone that you would feel comfortable playing on call. Phone a friend if necessary. Now I know some persnickety repair techs that will shame people for not having a constant professional backup horn. I think that's silly. But maybe have a phone number or two you can call in case you get in a pinch. Schedule for success. I like to actually schedule shorter sessions over multiple days rather than one long day. And that does a couple of things. It prevents me and my players from getting fatigued or burnt out, and it also gives me time in between sessions to listen back. You can have your engineer do a quick bounce of an MP3, and you can listen to the takes and see, did you get everything you need? And you can plan the rest of your sessions accordingly. Now, how much time you need to book is kind of up for debate, and it's up to you. Some people have tried to come up with some magic formula of how much material you're recording versus how much time you'll actually need. But it's different for every project and different for every player. For me, I like to leave about an hour for every movement or tune. That way we can take short breaks, listen back, and check and make sure everything's sounding good in the headphones. But like most things in life, it'll probably take longer than you expect. Electricians and plumbers have certainly taught me this. So schedule maybe a couple more hours than you think you might need. You'll be glad. Nothing ruins the magic of music making like feeling rushed and you've got to get to the next material before you're really ready. Tip number 1, publish. When you're done mixing, mastering, and editing, it's time to put your music out into the world. I say this as much of a reminder to myself as to you. Our inner critic, when we're listening back, is going to tell you it's not good enough, you shouldn't let people hear it. But perfection is not the goal of making art, and the chances are someone else is going to really enjoy hearing your music. So I'll be releasing my music in the coming weeks, and I encourage you to start planning your next project. In the meantime, though, let me know in the comments what's the worst experience you've had in the studio, and how could you have prevented it. So please do finger F natural, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week with a new episode.